Sport in its nature is known to unify, but some sportsmen in Zambia are complaining, and they complain to government about funding. They argue that government has not paid them allowances for some of the work done, and the government defends itself, saying that this is not true. We also talk about the energy crisis and how many young people are affected by it. Today, I sat down with the Minister of Youth, Sport and Arts, Elvis Nkandu. I asked him why government is not paying these athletes and what it is doing to deal with the energy crisis. Welcome to this day. My name is Dingindaba Jonah Uyoya. Minister, thank you so much for hosting us here at your office and welcome to my show.
Thank you very much. You are always welcome in my office. And thank you for having me.
Well, your office has a lot going on at the moment. There's a lot of discussion around the country, especially by athletes. And, these issues have got to do with finances. They've got to do with sports administration in the country. So I'll gradually talk about these issues. And I want to start, first of all, with the financing. Minister, is government broke? Is your ministry broke? And is that why you're not paying these athletes?
Yeah, indeed, there's a lot going on, but I believe that for me, I would be very positive that this government has really done a lot when it comes to sport. That's number one. Government will never be broke, first and foremost. Government may delay paying people, but does not mean that we are broke. When it comes to the issue on the table of delaying some payments to the athletes, it's not that the government is broke. You and me, I think we are aware that we are facing a very, very difficult challenge when it comes to drought. So the president had pronounced, and all of us, we followed suit. I made the statement that every Zambian will be affected with this drought. I think you are aware that there's a percentage that has been cut from each ministry so that we can help people that are hungry. And I believe that a sane person would want to first look at a person who is hungry than maybe paying an athlete. That does not mean that we're not going to pay. We've just delayed, but we'll make sure that everyone is paid. So for me, it's not a lot that is going on. It's not a lot, apart from every individual has the right to complain in case or if he has not received his pay. So I think the complaint is genuine, though to some extent, some of them are not genuine, because some of them who are complaining that they have not been paid have been paid. So I don't know why they have been motivated to issuing such statements, because they have been paid. And I want also to say that it's not our responsibility as government to go and check in each and everyone's account if the money is reflected. I think for us, when we make a transfer, definitely the government has made a transfer and people have been paid. So,
while you say that, Minister, there's a lot of other athletes, like you have rightly said, that have not been paid. And it probably also now presents another angle to all of this, that the people that are talking, and I've had the opportunity to talk to some of them. For example, I had the opportunity to interview Muzala just yesterday, today actually, and he was saying that he's speaking on behalf of other athletes. He claims that he's speaking on behalf of other athletes who have not been paid. And I'm prompted to ask, I asked him the same question, and I'm prompted to ask you that, are you favoring some athletes and paying them while there's a lot of other athletes that have not been paid these allowances that we keep hearing about?
No, in fact, I would say that I don't remember when, for instance, Muzala became the spokesperson of every athlete. First, that is tantamount to indiscipline. You and me knows that if an athlete has a grievance, he's supposed to go through his or a federation. Then the presidents or general secretaries of that particular federation would definitely forward that grievance to government. And government would liaise with those. So when they did start, where athletes would just wake up today and start demonizing government or demonizing those that have been there for them. Because even people who are claiming that they are spokespeople, persons of other athletes. I think this is the government that has done a lot to some of these individuals. Now, I want also to say that I would want these federations, in case they have those athletes who have not been paid, to engage government, not where every athlete will be able to engage government. I think that is not fair, especially to a government that has really done a lot to people like the one you are mentioning, Muzala. Let me give you this scenario. I think some of these, like Muzala, came to light when we came in as new administration, where in Mauritius, where government paid everything, transport, accommodation and everything, and they emerged number one there. From there, we pronounced that we are going also, before there was nothing. And I want to, before I go any further, to appreciate that today people are able to speak about allowances because allowances has been introduced. People should not forget that. You didn't hear any athlete complaining about allowance before the new Dawn administration came into office because there was nothing. So because we are very good managers of sport, we knew that we need to motivate these athletes. Previously, it's only the footballers that were enumerated, the players that were motivated. Well, how much did we find? $3,000 as winning bonus. When we came in, we had to go to $5,000 as winning bonus. So are you telling me that, for instance, the footballers have never won any game that we've paid?
But
listen, just a minute, we've been paying. Now we thought that football is not the only sport discipline that we have. We also have athletics, we also have field events and other things. So we said, let's us now balance so that even the athletes like the Muzalas could also benefit from what government has pronounced. Apart from that, we have seen even the pool players, the draft players have also benefited from all this I'm talking about. Now, the issue is, indeed, we have athletes that have not paid. We are aware of that. But remember the statement that I gave, that this is a very difficult year for all of us. And this ministry do not manufacture any money. What we normally do is that we also ask from the Minister of Finance. So the Minister of Finance will be able to look at which one is more important than the other, especially in this situation. So all we've been asking from these athletes is to be very patient, because it is important even for them to also look at the other side of the coin. Who do we start with and who do we finally pay an allowance? So it's not that we don't want to pay. Do you know that even some of the journalists have not been paid? There are people that have not been paid. Sometimes even the artists in other departments, they have not been paid. So we have this issue. But I think what is important is for us to have that commitment of making sure that we dismantle all these Nkongolese earthquake. But I know the issue of Muzala. You know, in Bemba we say,
we'll get to that, because so, I think I've heard that sentiment before, and we'll get to that. But it sounds like government wants to be commended and praised for introducing these things. But Minister, what's the point of introducing these allowances and people are not receiving them? That's number one. But also the statement, for example, by the National Sports Council of Zambia, which sits under your ministry, that issued a statement yesterday. And the tone was very similar, that they say that they've done so much, for example, for Muzala Samkonga. They cited him as an example in that statement. They've done so much for him. That's true, but let me give an example. They've cited examples that the house that he occupies now was facilitated by government, that he has been given a job in the Zambian National Service, and there was a list of some of the allowances that have been paid to him. But should he be held hostage for the gestures that you have put forward, the allowances that government has committed to pay him and have been paid? Now, because all these things have happened, he can't complain about the allowances that have not been paid?
No, I think you said that should we be credited as government? Yes.
For doing your job.
Listen, when you introduce something that was not there, a certain person will first appreciate what you've given to them. If there's a complaint, obviously the complaint will follow. And listen very carefully, I'm not saying that people cannot complain. People have every right to complain, but it's how you complain. Because you and me, you know that there is no way an athlete can go public and say, we have not been paid. They should go through their federation. That's my appeal. Because at the end of the day, you find a situation where everyone will just come up, will just wake up today and say, hey, this has not been done. Then that is a confusion. So if we have to work in an environment that is so enabling, then we should follow procedures. And I believe that maybe it's because I think I heard the president of ZA saying that they are not in control of Muzala. He can't listen to them. So that in itself, I think is tantamount to indiscipline. Because there is no way the president of your federation is failing to control you. And I believe that maybe they have talked to him. That's why they had to come like that and say they have failed to control him.
But I
don't think that is the procedure. The procedure should be, and my appeal even to other athletes is that when you have a grievance, you go through a federation.
What if the federation is not failing? Maybe that's what's going on here. This way
I'm coming. In case you fail to agree, I think I've told you that we have an open door policy. People can come and lodge a complaint. Then we'll be able to agree on something. What I'm trying to avoid a situation where every time we should be exchanging words through social media or through radio platforms or TV platforms. In case Muzala has an issue, the best he could do, he can even reach us. Honorable Minister, I have this issue. When we fail to agree, or when we fail to do what is requesting, if it's a genuine request and we fail to do it, definitely he has every reason to say, you people failed me. Definitely. But I don't remember getting any complaint from Muzala. All we always wake up to is a social media buzz that you have not done this, you have not done this. So sometimes, obviously, when someone go like that, what do? I'll call the Department of Finance. What is happening? Because what I know is that this boy has been paid. Why haven't you paid? Then they also bring the payment schedule, and I find that he has been paid. What do you expect me to do? Is to say this one has been paid. Not that we are fearing only few individuals. They are just other athletes who are very disciplined. They are athletes who are very disciplined. That does not mean that we should take advantage of their being disciplined, not to pay them. As I said, we are going to make sure that those that we are owing, those that we have not given the allowances, are given.
I asked Muzala why he's going to social media to make these statements and not reach out to the ministry as you are suggesting. And he says that, well, it's because that the ministry goes to social media and claims to have paid athletes, and yet there's money owed to him. According to him, the ministry owes him over 21,000 United States dollars in medals, rewards that have not been paid to him. And this is on record on the interview that we had with him. So these are
$21,000.
$21,000, because he cited several medals, 2 gold medals that he says he won, 1 silver medal, 2 bronze medals, if I'm not mistaken, and, or thereabout, and he has not been paid the winning allowance for these medals.
And you've been in Zambia and you've been following Muzala. Which medals didn't we pay? Because in the 2022 Commonwealth Games, where he got a gold medal, we paid him $5,000. And I think it is in plain white and black that we gave him $5,000. By then, that was 2022, it was $80,000. It is there.
80,000 kwacha.
We paid. I want to agree. The only money that we have not paid Muzala is only when they went to the All Africa Games. The medals, I'm sure he participated in the 4x4, where they came, I think they came second or third, I'm not so sure. Yes, there we haven't paid. And we haven't also paid the bronze which he won at the Olympic Games. But I think I've explained. Those medals that he had presented to government, we paid. the medals that he has not yet presented to government, we haven't paid. I think we are not in dispute. In fact, we are not even saying that we don't owe him. Now, how do we come to $21,000? Because a bronze he won in Paris is $2,500. That's what we pay, $2,500. And the gold medal is $5,000. The silver medal is $3,500, if I'm not mistaken. So he won the bronze medal, $2,500. In All Africa Games, I think he won also a silver. A silver is $3,500. How could that come to $21,000? So these are the issues. We can't be discussing all these issues in the media. What Muzala should do is to come to the ministry so that maybe it takes us through. In case we have forgotten some of the medals he has brought to the ministry, let us arrive at a point where we say, no, this one has been paid, this one has not been paid, this one has been paid. Now, if he says that I'm going on social media because the ministry also goes to social media, when we pay, we always tell the nation that these people have been paid. Because in a lot of instances, we found ourselves in a situation where we are on social media for wrong reasons. When we don't pay, they will go to social media and say, government has not paid. When we pay, it's quiet. You've never heard these people say, government has paid us. I'm sure they have never come to you and appreciate that the government has paid us. The only time they will come to you is when we don't pay them. So we have also come to a point where when we pay, we'll tell the nation that they have been paid so that the nation will be able to follow through and see that, no, even when they are not paid, there are some times that government pays. So it's not going on social media. In fact, I always call press briefings. Then I tell the nation that we have paid this, we have paid that. Right now, it's not only Muzala who has not been paid. There are also other athletes that have not been paid. There are also footballers. For instance, if people are saying that why pronounce something that you can't pay? Are we telling ourselves that these are two, like if the Copper Queens, they have only won 2 games ever since we came into office. There are so many games that they have won and they have been paid. We are only owing 2 games. So meaning about more than 10 games, they have been paid. And these are $5,000 per individual. Now, I would not appreciate the fact that someone says, why should you pronounce something that you are failing to pay? We are motivating these athletes and we want them to excel. We want them to bring medals. The fact that we don't pay them does not mean that government will steal from them. Government at the end of the day will pay them. We have just delayed, but we are going to pay them, including footballers, other athletes. So my appeal through this interview is that we know who we are owing, but we will not appreciate those that want to just demean us. We will not appreciate those that want to make a political capital out of this, because we know that before we came into office, these things were not there. We pronounced them and we've continued paying. We only have some gaps where we have not paid. And because of the reason I said, every sports women or men and women will be able to also be affected by the drought. So I think that's what we are saying. As I'm talking to you now, we have even generated a request to the Minister of Finance to give us money so that we start dismantling some of these issues we are talking about.
In the midst of all of this, you say that Muzala should, and other athletes who may have any of these concerns come to the ministry. But I'm wondering how you want to manage this, because this is your athlete, one that you take so much pride in. He brought the only medal at the Paris Olympics. Why isn't the ministry reaching out to him?
I don't want to be controversial, but I think this is the ministry that appreciates Muzala. Though you talked about because you gave him a house, you gave him a job. First, that's appreciation. You need to be mindful of that fact. That's appreciation. How many athletes have been given a house? How many athletes have been given jobs in ZNS or Zambia Army? There are few. So it's just one of the lucky ones. So obviously, that in itself is an appreciation. Another appreciation that you should do, even when we are talking about the $2,500, the $3,500, the government has gone an extra mile when Muzala is away of mobilizing sources. I'm sure you are aware that we had secured the $10,000 from the president of the Chinese Association of Zambia. That's $10,000. Not Muzala, it's us who had secured that amount. We also secured another $5,000 from King Long Motors. So we are just awaiting him to come so that we present money to him. So if we are not appreciating him, why should we go that extra mile of mobilizing more resources so that Muzala is appreciated?
Oh, my question is, why are you not reaching out to him to manage this situation? Because it's not looking so good.
Reaching out, I think we have talked to him. Even yesterday I was talking to him, just to find out why he's doing what he's doing. But he had to cut the line. I don't know if it was network or something, I don't know. But I think I even reached out to him just to make me understand why someone who has been paid is claiming not to have been paid. Unfortunately, we couldn't finish the discussion. He had to cut the line. I don't know what happened. So we have done that. I also reached out even to Kundananji. I talked to her. I reached also out to other athletes just to make them understand what we are going through. And we need to be very patriotic. There is no way you are passing through a lot of challenges and you are a Zambian and you want this other person not to pass through the same challenges. Because the drought should affect everyone. Everyone is affected, including players, including athletes. So when we delay in paying them, obviously we just need to appreciate that. And remember, we've just coming from paying the civil servants. So obviously, Minister of Finance couldn't have the money to give the Minister of Youth so that we pay. Now that we are done with the payments of the civil servants, obviously money can be released now also to do other things. So what is important here is that we are going to pay those that have not been paid, but will not take kindly for those that want to demean this government. We will not take kindly for those that want to lie. To lie to people that they have not been paid and yet they have been paid. I think that is uncalled for.
And perhaps also just to try and understand the communication side of all of this. I did allude to it earlier on, the things that government has done for some of these athletes, like Muzala, for example, listing them down. Is this what the intention is, to hold these things against these athletes when you do them to appreciate them?
But it's you who posed the question that are you now...
Well, I'm only bringing them up because they were in the statement yesterday.
Yes, because people need, the way the narrative is, it's like this government has not been doing anything to Muzala and also appreciate him. So obviously, those that had singled him out, they wanted to tell the nation that this is the person who is claiming that he's not being helped by this government. So for me, that was okay, so that the Zambian people would be able to look at
but that's the problem. Who
is telling the truth.
Okay, for instance, he says that the only query has been on the allowances, not that the government is not helping.
Unless you are telling us that any person will just go on social media, lie against government, and we keep quiet.
No, well, no, that's not what I'm saying, but that's also not what he's saying.
So
the
is it wrong? Okay, is it wrong? If you go on social media, the way I'd put it, that this government has been going on social media. If you go on social media and say, Mr. Nkandu has shot his wife, I should just keep quiet. Shouldn't I have also an opportunity to counter-react to or counter what has been lied to me? What we are saying is that
let me ride with your example. Let me ride with your example. And you say, I go onto social media and accuse you of having shot.
And I was accused one time.
And your response then becomes that I can't believe that Jonah has posted this when just yesterday I bought him a new phone. That doesn't answer the question. The question is, did you shoot her or not?
No, that means you said, I don't have a phone. I don't have a phone, and no one is coming through to help me with a phone. And yet I know that yesterday I bought you a phone. So obviously I should tell you that, no, what you are saying is not right. It was yesterday I bought a phone. Where have you taken that phone?
But it's got nothing to do with the two responses. Muzala has not said he doesn't have a house. He has not said that he is not being helped by government. He's not said that he has never been paid by government.
No,
He's saying that
the statement was, we don't care. That was the statement. We don't care. How best do you want us to care for him? It's by looking for, giving him accommodation, give him his allowances, mobilize more resources for him to appreciate him. The way I've just spoken about those resources that have been mobilized, that is caring. If someone is injured, like the way he was injured, where the federation couldn't manage to take him to the hospital, this government had to get money from this ministry, sponsor him, pay medical bills, and today is running. That is caring. So obviously, when someone tells me that this government does not care, I'll look at all these things and they say, what is he talking about? We have done this, we have done that, we have done that to him. How could he claim that we're not caring? So all we are trying to say is that he should never lie to the public that this government does not care, because there's a lot of things that we've done. Caring again, the president just announced that all those Muzala plus the other four, if not 5, those that are in 4 by 400, the president wants to take them to the US so that they train there, so that they become better athletes, more than the way they are now. Is that not caring? For me, that is caring. That's why I'm saying that, people should not just go to the media and talk whatever they want to talk, and thinking that we cannot respond, especially when we know that we are not wrong. And in this case, we are not wrong. Today, I'm surprised that he's saying, no, I'm speaking for others. No, he was speaking for himself, because that's what the statement was. He was speaking for himself, and we had to tackle him, not tackle others that have not spoken. Because why should we also involve them? In Bemba, we say, when you lie to the public that Nkandu has done this, I should respond if you have done that or not. I think that's what we did. So the National Sports Council of Zambia, what they did was very correct, because they look at sports management. They look at how to develop sport. One of the issues that they had brought in, and I was happy, is in discipline. There is no athlete that will go or excel with an indisciplined attitude. So it's up to the National Sports Council of Zambia to bring those people to an understanding that discipline is the cornerstone of everything you want to do in life.
Isn't there truth to some of the things that are being said, that there is a problem with the sports administration? And
like
these are some of the issues that are also coming up, that there must be a problem with the sports administration. And this is seen in how many medals we get when we go to competitions like this. I mean, such a huge competition with so many sports disciplines, like the Paris Games that just ended, and we come back with 1 medal. And, that should say something about the sports administration.
Indeed.
And the talent scouting in the country, doesn't it?
Indeed. That is an issue for another day, my friend. If we are talking about medals, first, one thing that these athletes should appreciate: how were they identified? It's the same administration of these federations that identified him, nurtured him, and he is today where he is because of that same administration. I don't expect him to start belittling today after now someone has excelled. I think that is not correct. We need to give credit where it is due. Someone had nothing, someone was nothing, today is someone. Then you start now telling those that had identified you from so many Zambians, and today you are where you are because of that same federation. How could you today wake up and say this is a very bad administration? No, I don't think. Even some people may say the Mponderas and others are not good administrators. I don't believe.
But what do you think, Minister, especially as an overseer of sports in the country, and you just get 1 medal after sending all these athletes?
This is where I want to come. My thinking has been, we need to appreciate them first to some extent. That does not mean that there are no gaps. Listen to me very carefully. Gaps will always be there, but I think there is something that they have done. Now, when we come to the medals, For me, I would say that we have done, in fact, we have even done a lot, though there is room for us to improve. When we came into office, the medals that we found every year that they were minting as a country was only ranging from 40 to 50. You can now imagine how we jumped from 40 to 50 to 310 medals in 2022. 310 medals. In 2023, we had 267 medals. You may say, why again the decline? It's because some of the competitions were not held. We're supposed to go to Region 5 games, and it was postponed. So if we had that, we would have even gone above the 310 medals. This year, we will be having a lot of medals again. So it means, I think we are somehow constant when it comes to medals. So we have jumped from the 40. So where is the bad administration from the 40 to 310?
But where are the medals at the Olympics?
Now, the situation is, where you are saying that you are coming with one medal, that is a gap. That's why I said that there are gaps, because I'm also on record of complaining to these federations that as long as we are going to go to these competitions with very few disciplines that will participate in, the chances of minting more medals is very slim. You can imagine we had 200 plus disciplines at the Olympics. We could only participate in 5. So definitely the chances of minting medals, you can't go beyond 5. Because it's only 5 disciplines that we're participating in. Now, if these 4 couldn't mint medals, we only had 1, Muzala. So the issue is, these gaps now, as government, what are we trying to do? People should understand that indeed this administration has done a lot. We have now introduced sports festivals to bridge up those gaps, because sometimes these federations may not have the capacity, they may not have the money to reach out to every corner of the country. So as government, what have we done is now to fill up that gap by putting up now sports festivals this year, youth games. We have also gone to Zanaco to help us identify talent in all the secondary schools in the country. And to a tune of about 2 million kwacha that will be spent by Zanaco. So these are the issues. How do we make our national teams strong? It's by getting to every part of the country. So this is what government is doing. Those are some of the gaps that I felt that them too, the federation should do, because some of them are calling themselves national federations. But when you look at their structures, they're only in Lusaka or along the line of rail. They are not in Kaputa, they are not everywhere. So for me, that is a very big gap. That's why I said, yes, we could do well, but with challenges. Apart from that, even the money. Let me give you a practical example. Our colleagues in Tanzania, when I was sharing this with the Minister of Youth, Sport and Culture, only 2. How much are they giving them? $100 million. Not kwacha, $100 million. That's their budget. You can do a lot. Look at this ministry. How much is on sport? 90 million kwacha, not dollars. Now look at the difference. Them there is $100 million on only 2. In fact, $130 million, because $30 million goes to culture. $30 million goes to culture. The $100 million goes to sport. Us, it's 90 million sport. Kwacha. Arts department, 8 million kwacha, not dollars. So you see that we have, even the medals that you are seeing, even what we are doing, I'm sure just coming from the arts festival, it's just creativity and innovation. Otherwise, we have a challenge when it comes to resources. And we understand we have a small economy. So people should not be so expectant of things that can be achieved by the USA. People should not be expectant of the things that are achieved by China. Those are big economies, and they have invested much in sport.
So it's true
compared to us.
So it's true then that we've got a funding problem.
Funding, yes. Obviously, those are challenges.
And that's why there are these complaints with the money.
No, it's not about that. You know, we can only do with what we have. Those allowances that we're talking about, even in the small economy, we'll be able to sort that out. But I'm looking at the larger picture of where we want to be as a country. If you want to participate in all the 200 plus disciplines, do we have the infrastructure? You can have two stadium, Mwanawasa and Diro Stadium. Do you have infrastructure for hockey? Do you have infrastructure for volleyball, basketball? We don't. So challenges will continue being there. We are micromanaging some of these things. That's why I'm saying people need to be appreciated in the small things that we are doing, and in the small amount that has been allocated to this ministry. We are able to do a lot of things.
Minister, let me ask my final question on this topic before I move to the last part of this interview. And it's that one of the things that's coming out of this is you as a minister and as a ministry, and from the statements that have come, you have this strong belief that there's something behind all of this, beyond just the genuineness of a complaint, because it was said in the National Sports Council statement that there is something behind whatever it is. And I want to find out from you what you think this is.
I believe so.
What is that?
And I'm in support of what the National Sports Council said. My friend, I'll be able to determine what Buyoya can write, how Chitalu can write and speak. I'll be able to determine, because Sangwa won't say. So when I see your English, I'll be able to tell that this is not Buyoya. Buyoya's English is like this. So that one you should know. The issue of, for instance, let me abuse my very good footballer, Kundananji. Someone had to write for her a page pamiakwe. When we asked Kundananji, do you know this? I said, no, I don't. So these are some of the politics that some people want to play. And you know,
but it's not strange, Minister,
without even mentioning, without mentioning names, that there are some political force that want to take political capital out of this situation. But I want to tell them that they will not manage, because at the end of the day, I think we have a program as a ministry, we have a program as government, and we have done what we can to make sport in Zambia grow.
Is that fair, though? Is that
at
fair?
least give us a credit to Kwebati. If there's a time, Minister, that sport...
Is that fair?
Yeah.
Is that fair? You know, because I mean,
it's not fair when people want to make political capital out of.
I mean, look, you
this.
are able to communicate. You are able to speak English. You are able to do all of those things. But you don't write your own speeches. You've got an assistant. You've got people that manage. You've got all those things, and that doesn't mean that you don't agree with the things that they've written. You don't endorse the things that they've written. Your media team. So just because I don't write it doesn't mean that I don't own it.
My friend. What is written by, if someone is managing my page,
you endorse it.
I endorse it. I endorse it. So and what is written is, I'm able to tell that it's me who had given this information to you to write for me. So it's not about maybe it's not just about the English alone, the ideas also. I'll be able to say, Buyoya cannot think like this. Buyoya cannot say this, he cannot do this. But I think by and large, all I want to say is that we know some people that I will not mention that are behind some of these things.
I don't know if you know them, Minister. Do you know them or you suspect? I think it sounds more like a suspicion than you know. So you don't really know if there's anything behind all of this.
In fact, I would not say it's a suspicion, because I totally understand what is going on. I totally understand what is going on. The only thing I can say is that I want to appeal to them to refrain. Sport and politics are antagonistic to each other. We should not bring politics into sport. Otherwise, sport is a unifier. We don't care which political party you are coming from. We don't care which region you have or you go to, which church you go to. Sport, when Zambia scores, I've never seen someone say, me, I'm Bemba. All of us just cheer. I've never seen someone say, I'm celebrating because I'm UPND. All we do is cheer. So please, my message is very clear. Stay away from sport. Don't bring politics in sport.
And all
because
this,
sport is a unifier, and sport can help us create job opportunities for our people. Sport can alleviate poverty amongst our people. That's why for us, we are motivated to support sport because of these two important things, job creation and also poverty alleviation.
let me leave this sporting issue, and we've got very few minutes for us to finalize, but there's a big issue that the country is dealing with, and this has to be the energy crisis. At this point, it's a huge crisis. I mean, 3 hours of electricity in a day is a big problem. A lot of young people's businesses are struggling at this point. They are failing to manage, and I mean, things are just going south, Minister. And they're asking, what is this government thinking, for these people? What is this government doing for these many young people that are now rendered helpless?
The answer, a very simple answer, is that first we sympathize with everyone, and also we are putting measures, interventions in place so as to make the lives of our people easier. Yes, we appreciate what our people are going through. That includes me, that you should know. That includes me. So that's why you've seen some of these interventions. The president has to talk to people and see how best we can be helped. But people need to understand this fact. I think where we went wrong as a country, without even putting a blame on anybody, we didn't invest in the energy sector. I think we are so preoccupied with hydro. Now that we've been hit by drought, I think we have now come to a realization.
That includes
we have
your
come
government.
to, yes, we have come to, yes, this is what I'm saying without putting a blame on anybody. I'm saying as a country, we didn't invest in the energy sector. We are so preoccupied with the hydro power without looking for other alternative sources where we can get energy from. This is the time now that we are able now to say, okay, I think we should not put all the eggs in one basket. Let us now diversify. And I want to say to you that, in fact, this problem has come at a very right time for us as a country. Because if this problem had to come before us, we would have been in very big problems. But God has said, I think in the Bible, it is written that God will not give anything to an individual which you may fail to carry. So I believe and I know that this government is going to sort out this problem once and for all. The only thing that we may appeal to people is to be very patient with us, because it's not our making. That's why sometimes when you say, what is this government? There is a lot that we are doing.
It's very.
You can imagine.
And I'm very glad that you brought that up, Minister.
Just a minute. Let me finish. You can just imagine. This minister is thinking how also to respond to the climate change, the drought that has hit us. I think there you can see the sowing machine. That is solar propelled. Because what we want now to do is to add a package to our empowerment program, so that those that are involved in tailoring and design will be able to be empowered with the solar-powered equipment. Those that have barber shops, we are procuring now barbing machines, so that we can now roll out these empowerment to those barber shops, so that in case we have no power, they will be able to continue moving. So interventions have been there, and I'm aware that ZESCO also have bought some generators that will be placed in public institutions like schools, markets, healthy centers. So there's something that we are doing, but I know that we haven't done much. That's why you saw the president now trying to seek for solutions, even elsewhere, because we know that this is a problem that needs to be sorted out.
Minister, the reason why, and I'll bring this forward to you, the reason why a lot of people may be harsh on this government and ask for answers is because you said you had the answers. The president, a lot of times, the previous times that we had power outages, they don't acknowledge the natural environment and the natural turn of events, that when there is no water, there is no generation of electricity. And it has happened to his government as well. So that's why people are asking for answers, because it's basically the same problem.
We'll give you the answers. First, one thing the Zambian people should appreciate is that even where we wanted even to import power, you are aware, like Mozambique, what did we find? They were saying first you pay the money. I'll start from there. ZESCO, we found ZESCO with $1.8 billion in Congole. As I'm talking to you now, we have dismantled that amount to $400 million, from $1.8 billion to $400 million. So these are the interventions. Now, we found only 2 turbines that were working at Kariba, and there we have 5. We managed, without Kongola, we managed these other 3, and we had 5. That's where we had no disruption of power, when we had all the 5 working. Now, this is a drought, my friend, which has led all of us to now to say that it's high time we diversify. And this is what we are doing. We are now bringing solar, wind, and other things, even coal. Do you remember that at one point, our coal, Mamba, was being called debt energy to some, I will not mention some of these West countries in the West, but them, they're using that. That's why we have also now, we are now bold enough to say, let's go Mamba way. Let us also go solar way, wind way, in any way possible. So when we said we had answers, definitely we have the answers. And these answers, you soon see that these are the answers.
Minister, thank you so much for hosting us here at your office.
You are very much welcome. Thank you so much.